Hello, my name is Justin Timken, and my project was observing Spotify data over like a 7 year period. Um, I mainly focused on the years 2017, 2020, and 2023. So here you can see I read in all the data, looked at all the different columns, and my first question was I wanted to try to identify any correlation between the features that Spotify uses in their API to see like if they contribute to popular songs. These are the ones I looked at: danceability, energy, speechiness, acousticness, liveness, balance, and tempo or BPM. I used a Pearson correlation call to see if there was a linear relationship between them. Um, Initially, I thought that danceability and energy would be the highest, just because when you think of like dancing songs, you think they're high energy, but that obviously was not the case, especially for 2017. I mean, this could indicate like big outliers, but I think, well, hold on, I'm getting ahead of myself. I wanted to look at all three in like the same window, and as you can see, like Valence and danceability had the highest for all 3 years. Valence is what Spotify identifies as like a happy song. So I mean that also makes sense. Like most dance songs are usually happy. So, but I mean there's really no other like linear relationship between like the rest of the data, which is kind of interesting. I think the titles properly outline what you're looking at. You're looking at a correlation of the top 100 Spotify audio features. Um, I used a magma coloring code. Uh, I thought this like really helped to like show the data. Like you can see, like the dark is obviously bad. Anything else? Nope. I think that one is good. Okay. Um, the next one I wanted to do, I wanted to use the Valence score that I just talked about, and I wanted to see if like that's kind of what Spotify was using, like the major chords to identify Valence. Um, Unfortunately, Spotify they don't identify if major chords are used. They use what was it called? They use a pitch class notation. So they just tell you what key the song is in. So unfortunately, it like this just shows you the distribution of like a happiness score across different keys. But I think this is still interesting. I used a little drop down so you can look at all the different features in the different keys, and you can see like they're usually on the same par and like evenly distributed. Um, yeah, I used the same features. I wanted to use a deep color palette. This way, like it's easier to see against the white background. The title changes. I forgot to say that. Yeah, you see this says how energy varies by key. If you select this will say how speechiness, and the y-axis also changes with whatever you select. Um, I thought the really interesting thing here was like looking at tempo. Usually, like a song is usually like between 80 and 140 beats per minute. So this kind of lines up, and I mean, there's obviously some outliers with popular songs, right? But the funny thing was, in 2020, there was a lot of really popular, like, high tempo songs. I don't know what happened in 2020, but it's pretty funny. I think. Oh, I also wanted to mention I tried to put them all in one window, but with the interactive feature, it wasn't working. So I had to put them all in three separate ones. And this one, and also. Oh yeah, and the data set. This one it had no like songs in the C key. But this is C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, etc. Um, my next one. I wanted to see if genres can shift over a 7 year period, which I didn't really think that they could. I mean, I thought it would be like generally the same. Um, Here I had to group them just because there's so many like subgenres, but they're all related to like a larger genre. So like you can see like hip hop, rap, and trap. I mean, you can just call this one genre, right? Um, let's see. Yes. Okay. So, you can see the title tells you total plays for the 100 Spotify tracks from each year, and we can hover over it, and it will tell us how many are in each bar chart. So, like for 2017, there were 42 hits for pop. Um, oh yeah, I wanted to mention I used a bold coloring scheme for this one, just because, again, like with the white background, like any really light colors, it wasn't really showing. Um, so here I really thought like just pop would go up, but let's play it. Yep, and then we can see rock and pop actually went up, and everything else went down, which was really surprising. I guess when I think about it, it kind of makes sense because I guess 2017 into the 2020s was probably like there was some electric music, but not that much. And I mean, rap and reggaeton are like still pretty popular, but not the most popular genre. And then, like for pop, obviously, like I had the group K-pop and like domestic pop together, so that explains the rise in pop. But rock, I was really confused about. So I actually did go and look at the 2023 rock because I was really confused, like I said, and it was like a lot of like older rock songs, which I was kind of a little disappointed in. But I guess when you're looking at overall stream numbers, it makes sense. I think for a future idea, you could try to identify songs that were released that year that were also popular, just to kind of see if there's like new music trends. But yeah, a lot of these, like none of these were newer rock songs. A lot of them were released in like the 80s. So it could tell you that a lot of older people are listening like on streaming services now. And I think that is it. One thing I wanted to say, I think like generally I think music is like very subjective, and I think this kind of proves it. But also like there's always trends in music, and I think this kind of shows like since pop has been like so popular the last couple of years that it just keeps rising. Okay. Thank you for listening.